Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Nikki and I am the queen of the bounce back. For today's video, it is going to be a little different. Today's video is going to consist of something that is ransacking our nation. And I have been personally affected in more than one way. So today's video is about the ongoing opioid epidemic. Prescription drugs and narcotics and opioids, they have brought the death toll to an outrageous amount. Statistically, every 8 minutes, one person in the United States dies from an opioid overdose. One person every 8 minutes. So it's safe to say that at least one, if not two people will be dead by the time that this video is over. I'm not okay with that. And I will never be okay with that. If you follow me on Facebook, I had posted a few things today, such as pictures and memories, because today is the 8th year anniversary of my best friend's death. So 8 years ago today, my best friend, who was actually my boyfriend at the time, 8 years ago today, he overdosed at 22, whole life ahead of him. That changed so much for me, so much for my friends. It changed so much for the community. It was a loss. But the scariest thing was that I had run into painkillers long before I knew what they even were. As you've heard me speak before, I have MS, and I've been battling MS for 13 years. The first 6 years I went misdiagnosed, and it was a constant, you're still in pain? Take this. You're still in pain? Take this. So you take a 17-year-old girl, okay, who is 5 feet tall on a good day, maybe 120 pounds, and you think that it's okay to prescribe her without education, without caution. When they first told me they were going to prescribe me Percocet, they told me it was a prescription aspirin. It was just a stronger version of a medication. I didn't even know what the word painkiller was at that time. 17, and you know, the lowest dose, it wasn't working. 18, 19, and instead of taking off, no, my doctors just kept giving and giving and giving. And now this is 2016, I'm 17 years old, and I'm doing exactly what the doctor is telling me to do. I wasn't abusing the drugs. I was 2 times a day at night. But okay, great. I did it exactly how it was. I've never done a drug in my life. I've never done a drug that was not prescribed to me. And that's sad that I have to phrase it that way. So let's take, okay, so the Percocet 5s are not working. Let's go to the 7.5s. Let's go from oxycodone to hydrocodone to roxicodone to, how about the 2 different forms of morphine I was on? Because, you know, one form of morphine would not be enough to a 17-year-old girl, right? So not only did I have a long-acting morphine that I took in the morning to combat, you know, throughout the day my pain, but I had an as-needed morphine. So you mean to tell me you have prescribed me, my little self, all of these narcotics not really knowing what they're doing. This was when it kind of, it hit the fan. We were the guinea pig era. Um, it wasn't explained. It wasn't proposed as something that we should be cautious of becoming addicted to. I literally thought it was prescription Motrin. I thought it was like an ibuprofen 800. And boy, was I wrong. But I was so naive. And I've always prided myself on being very smart and in tune and woke, aware of things that are going around and so on and so forth. And I attribute that a lot to the messed up history that I have. So with my story, I was following directions. I was listening to my doctors, and this is what they told me to do in order to not feel pain anymore. And I was going to do that because isn't that the point? Aren't I here at the doctor's because you're supposed to know more than me? You're supposed to be the expert. You tell me what to do to get better. In turn, I got fed poison for 6 years. And going back to my naivety, you learn about recreational drugs such as cocaine or heroin or acid, whatever drugs that people are doing. I'm a DARE graduate. I 5th grade. I don't even think they call it DARE anymore. But at least we were made aware. When prescription pills came about, this was a medication that was given to you by a doctor in which you were supposed to trust with your life. I truly don't understand how I survived. I was little. And the way I survived was that it wasn't me anymore. I was a zombie. And what way to live is that? Oddly enough, for as long as I had been on it, 6 years into me being, again, not abusing drugs, not doing anything but taking them exactly as prescribed. Nick starts to have a problem. One thing leads to another. Long story short, he ODs. When I met him, it was the first time that I had even realized that people were using the same medication I had been on for so many years as a way to get high. I didn't understand it. I'm like, I hate these. Why would anyone willingly want to be like a zombie? Why would anyone willingly do this? And, as much as I've always tried to save my friends and help my friends, they're going to do what they want. I'm only in control of what I did, and that was never me. I knew my prescription was my prescription, take it as it is, and now that I got to see that there was even a possibility of a misuse, I really didn't even know. And then it was dead. And to think that he died with the same medication in his system that I take every day at the request of a doctor, it rattled me to the core. And that was it. I decided the day that he died that I would never, ever take another painkiller ever again. So what did I do? I moved to California because I knew the weather was better. I got myself on a regimen where I swam and ate right and all that good stuff, and I locked myself in my room for 2 whole weeks and withdrew. I wasn't going to rehab. I knew I didn't need it. I had gone 7 years with trying to keep my independence and, kind of go through the drills of being sick. I got this. I know what to do. I know what my body needs, and I did that. Now, this is my story. I probably should have gone to rehab because it was probably pretty dangerous how I did it. So I am a big advocate for rehab. I'm a big advocate of getting whatever help you need. Okay? And we all need so much help nowadays because it is really a crazy and sad world we live in. But the thing that got me the most was what being on those drugs reduced me to. I'd always prided myself on this Wonder Woman type person that beat paralysis and MS and abuse as a child and all these things, and I was no different from a corner junkie. And I don't even mean that in a mean way. I mean that in the most truthful way possible. If you saw a withdrawal of that nature and a withdrawal of mine, who would know that, oh, you took it, you took it in the right way? Well, no, after taking 7 narcotics, for 6 years every single day, not knowingly, and saying I'm still not getting better, how dare you? How dare you prescribe a little girl something like that? And all these children, it is 11 minutes right now. One person has died already from me just talking, okay? It is such a misconception that you hear an overdose or an opioid overdose, specifically nowadays, and you think of a drug addict, or you think of someone who, you see a certain way, or they had a bad life or a bad upbringing. Look at all of the high school athletes that have died who were straight A students, top of their class, and it started out with a knee injury. And when the doctors decided they didn't want to prescribe it to you anymore, and you're now like, but I'm now in pain, how am I supposed to play the game? Well, what do you go look for? Something cheaper, something more accessible. And that's why heroin is ransacking our nation. This opioid epidemic has done so much more than just taken the lives of people, but it's taken the lives of the people who are still alive. It's the mothers and fathers who grieve their children. It's the brothers and sisters who don't get to share with their siblings. It's the moms and dads who kill themselves and leave behind little children. And it's people like me who thought that I was doing right because I was listening to the doctor and they knew best. I truly don't know how I survived being prescribed everything I was. And I thank God every day for that. Please, we need to do something. I am begging you, be involved, get involved, and if for nothing else, educate yourselves, please, because there are things like fentanyl out there now, and just these synthetic drugs that they're making, and they're so scary, and they're so deadly, and it's so not worth it, because the party is over. It will eventually end, and there are only 2 places where that party is going to end: in a casket or a cell. And I honestly don't know which one is sadder, because they're both a waste of life. A life that people would kill for, yet end up dying for. We need programs, we need education. We need to not rip these pills away from people and leave them scared and in pain and going to look elsewhere. We need reform in so many different ways, but especially this. So Nick, I miss you. 8 years later, and I'm so sorry that I could not save you. To little Nikki, me, little Nikki at 16, 17 when she was prescribed this, sorry. And I miss you. But I will never let that happen to you again. And I will do whatever I can to make sure that that does not happen to anyone ever again. Do I think I am going to single-handedly solve the opioid epidemic? No. But I will die trying. I will fight every day that I am alive. For that and for every other cause that I stand for. Because y'all ain't seen nothing yet. This is one of my many stories. And again, this isn't doom and gloom. You know I'm all for positivity. But I'm also for, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to impact. That's what I want to do. I want to impact and I want to inspire. And I want to inspire change. I want to be the change that I wish to see in the world. Please, something needs to be done. This crisis has gotten out of hand. This world deserves a fighting chance. The future of our nation deserves a fighting chance. And I'm so ready for this country to stop seeing people as profit and to start seeing them as people. We need to do better, America. All of us. I will do whatever I can. I ask you to do the same. It's not going to be easy, but nothing that's worth it ever is. And in saying that, as angry as I am going to choose to continue to be kind and spread love and awareness and hope. And as always, I am going to keep on fighting. Will you? I know I will. Let me know if you've ever known or been someone who's been affected. I'd love for you to reach out. I'd love to hear your stories, because this isn't about me. I want people to know that this is okay and there are things that you can get through, even if you don't think you ever can. But hey, 8 years later, I've never had another narcotic in my life. You could do anything. You just have to actually want to do it. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate the support. I love you all. So again, be kind and always keep fighting, because I know I will. R.I.P. Nick.